My very first principalship in St. Louis was at Clark. Clark was a school that sat right where the haves and the have-nots. It's on the divided line of Del Mar. And I'll tell you, one morning I came and Officer Prothero Middleton called. And they said, did all your students show up? Clark has 99% black students, 100% poverty, and you do not want a phone call asking you that question. I sent Joanne Carmen, who still works in St. Louis, my parent liaison, see if all the kids are here. Mr. Ellery Clark, who just actually texted me this morning, he moved to each state as I moved to states and began being superintendent. He's now back in St. Louis, in Jennings School District, actually. He was on his way out with his fourth grade classroom to the art museum. One student was missing. Within an hour, we identified Rodney by the homework in his pocket. He had been mauled to death by dogs overnight. I asked my parents in the park, didn't you hear him crying and screaming? We're talking about trust here, you all. They said, I didn't trust that the police were going to save me if I opened my door. I didn't trust that they were going to even come if I made a phone call. I didn't trust that something wasn't going to happen to me, Dr. Anderson. Now, for me, you know, you think about the conversation when you say, man, the old Samaritan story that if you don't stop to help, what's going to happen to you? Here's something that Dr. Martin Luther King says in a lot of his speeches. He quotes John Donne, and he says, I can't do well if you don't do well, and you can't do well if I don't do well. We are all connected. This baby screamed all night. And the parents said, I know I'm going to be dreaming about this, having nightmares about this for the rest of my life. But I still was too scared to open the door. We have a responsibility to make sure that we give every service we can, because schools are the center of the community. To do everything that we can to break down barriers, to show support and love,